come in, you feel the weight on your feet, heels and toes, right? So you check your balance, you raise the club up, relax your arms and shoulders, and then when you lower the club, you can let your arms just hang, okay? Now this is not the ideal location to hit the ball from.
You said it's not.
No, because you have to do a tiny stretch from there. So look at this, look at what my arms are doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is where they dropped to. This is where they go to, right?
Okay, now I saw you do most of that with your wrist. What are you doing with your arms? How far out?
My arms. It's not my wrist. It's
Well,
my
it looks
arm.
to me like you were.
Well, I drop the club.
Yeah.
And then I move the club with my arm.
Okay.
So my elbow comes away from my side, just an inch or so. Now, if I was going to hit a tiny little chip shot, I might let my arms hang and just drop straight to here.
Okay.
So watch this. So here's the arms on a chip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put the ball exactly where my arms drop to on a tiny little chip.
Okay.
Because I'm not creating any centrifugal force.
Okay.
Right? On a chip shot, I'm just going straight back and through. Now, if I were to make more of a full swing, I'm going to create more centrifugal force. So, if I take my grip at the end of the club, come in and find my balance, right? Very little knee flex. It's a little bow and a drop. And then from here, I'm going to reach my arms out just a tiny little bit.
Yep.
And then I'm going to figure out how to get set up to the ball with a tiny little reach of the arms.
Okay.
Now that's with a sand wedge at let's say centrifugal force relative to a sand wedge.
Okay.
You have greater force, G forces, right? That's what centrifugal force is. Greater G forces with a driver. So
right.
what you're going to do on every club, as the club gets longer, you're going to stretch further. Now your maximum reach is your driver.
Okay, grab my driver.
Right, so you notice my body
Hasn't moved.
hasn't moved.
Right.
Right.
Grab your driver, but your feet relative to the ball have moved.
Yeah,
And
so
you move back.
yeah, so what I do is instead of regardless of where the ball is, I can shuffle to the ball, right? So if I come in with a driver, take my setup, drop the club like this, now watch how far my arms reach.
Yeah.
Because I'm not only reaching...
But you don't want them straight like that. You got to have a little bend.
They're relaxed, but they're out, right? So now that they're out and hovered, they're relaxed.
You would want them to reach that far.
Yep, on the driver, because I'm creating a maximum centrifugal force. So what's about to happen is this club is about to stretch.
Right, and if that snap hook's left, it's because I rolled it.
Yeah, you maybe rolled, but what you could have also been, could have done in your setup is you could have been standing too close.
Okay, or I could have come over the top of it, right?
Probably because you're too close. Because what happens is if the ball is here, and your arms naturally, with all the force that you're creating, want to go out here, and then you route it back in, because there's a big difference between swinging the way the club and everything is so that's why practice swings, right? You're not trying to hit a specific location. You're actually getting really in tune with the centrifugal force of the club.
Right, I've been doing that a good bit, just 2 or 3 of those, and then...
Yeah, and then what happens is you come in and you take a setup that's now not here. So then what happens is athletically, hand-eye coordination takes over, and you're not going to allow yourself to completely whiff it, which you should actually do if you let your centrifugal force happen. So then what happens is last second...
Why would you completely whiff it if you let your centrifugal force...
Because you're set up in the wrong place.
Because you'd be too far out.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
right, so you're in the wrong place.
Okay.
But you're never going to allow yourself to do that.
Right.
So what happens is we always route the club back to the ball.
Okay.
So if you're standing...
Which we don't want to do. We want the ball to be in the way of the club.
Exactly.
I mean, if I'm saying that right way.
Exactly, right? So then what happens is, if the ball is too close, we either hit the ground, because now we're trying to bring the club inward to collide with the ball, or we kind of come over the top of it, because that's the only way to both hit the ball first and, you know, make that happen. Because otherwise, yeah, we would just completely go underneath it, completely with it.
Okay, if the ball is too close, we bring the club inward and then we top it?
No, we chunk it.
Okay.
Well, you could do anything
Okay.
at that point. Because at that point, you're not relying on proper freedom of swing. Now you're relying, it's like if, it's like we're playing a moving ball sport, right? Like if I was playing baseball, and I was expecting that pitch to come boom right there, but all of a sudden it curved inward and I had to adjust, well, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to yank it left.
Right? In a moving ball sport, we have to react to the ball. So what we have to do in a stationary ball sport is what a lot of old school pros would say is make sure you put the ball in your wheelhouse, right? So the wheelhouse is actually the little house that sits on top of the wheel of a, what's that boat called? The water,
Paddle wheel.
paddle wheel, right? So the wheelhouse sits right perfectly on top of it. So the wheel goes right through and underneath the wheelhouse. So what happens is, that means the wheel is perfectly in alignment.
Okay.
So what's happening right here is, let's say this ball is the wheelhouse, where the wheelhouse is. But due to hand-eye coordination, we pull in and hit this one. Well, then we're not actually allowing that club.
Right.
We're not allowing the wheel to go through the wheelhouse. So what we have to do in our setup is make sure that when we set up to the ball, it's the right setup, so that then athletically we can complete that swing.
What am I afraid of? In my old swing, you know, where all the release is here.
Yeah.
You know, I hold it like this and
Flip it over, yeah.
What would happen if I stretched out too far? It would just go way left, wouldn't it?
Well, if you stretched
If
out,
I did the old swing and not the scoop.
yeah, the old swing, exactly. If you stretched out too far and then you flipped your hands over like that,
It's just going to chunk left.
Probably, you'll snag the heel, and then you'll flip the toe over, and then it'll...
See, that's why there's got to be
over
something, Craig, psychologically that keeps me, and maybe it's just simple. And that's why I'm probably losing a lot of distance, because I'm just not having the ball far enough away from my feet.
Yeah.
Let me hit a couple of drivers. We have time? I don't have time.
Yeah, because if you're creating the swing, and you know, like we talked about, there's that effort at exactly the right moment in time.
Yeah.
You get it, right? Athletically, you get it.
Yeah.
If you're doing all of that, and you know that there's a point, right? You pull it back, and you know there's a point where you throw that energy, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that energy is on a path, on a track to collide perfectly with the ball. But if you've done something incorrect with your setup...
As long as you have your setup right.
Exactly.
Okay.